podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Boxingvoice.com. When I say I promise you, I'm gonna knock out the Gypsy King as well.
DRD Productions.
How am I gonna let this little skinny spaghetti hit my face?
Boxingvoice.com.
Numbers don't lie, and I'm that guy. I'm the dog with the business.
When I stepped on the scene, I said I wanted this stuff. I said I wanted that love.
Boxingvoice.com.
You know, so I'm still on the mission.
I'm gonna chase his ass all the way up there.
I told him it's an easy break to make.
Some of them like it, some of them don't. Boxingvoice.com.
Good morning, TBV, and welcome back to another morning edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. And we are back with another one. Wilder versus Fury, the rematch, possibly headed to the UK. We'll bring you all the details as Frank Warren does an in-depth interview, and we're going to go ahead and review it, dissect it, and give you our opinions. I'm joined alongside a rotating panel of hosts, and today, hailing from Indiana and The Rock, right? No, that's the same guy. So it's Indiana and Texas, but let's get right into it.
I speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. I can't say it enough. I speak it, believe it.
Windows down, 2 attempts, handed bands over. Sicko hit, shot and miss, 2 to stand over.
Turn up.
Breadwinner, huh? Look who in the building. Let me check my Instagram. I might be at 1 million.
And I'm in.
Boxingvoice.com.
Yo. Now, y'all would think by day 45, Ness would know where everybody's from, but we're still working on it. We're going to get it right. So we got Indiana in the building. That's me. And we got my guy, Mario from Texas in the building. But that's beside the point. The topic of the day is rematch UK, or does it make more sense for it to be in the US? That's what we'll be getting into. Wilder, Fury, a lot of fucking residual effect by that fight. And I'm just so happy for boxing right now, man. We're in a great spot. But what's going on, Mario?
It's me, Mario.
I'm good. A little earlier for me than it is for y'all. Well, at least for Ness. And so, I'm rocking with it though. This is the kind of topic that'll get me up though, because I'm all about, even though I have a video coming out later this week, it's that time of year where we do wish lists, and I'm going to put my Santa wish list for fights. This is a realistic fight, I think, with Joshua Wilder and the actions of Joshua that went down this weekend and his little tour of ESPN. I think it seems more likely that we'll get Wilder Fury before, maybe even way before we get Wilder Joshua. So this is definitely something I'm excited to dissect for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was sent this in wee hours of the night, and I woke up early this morning to listen to Mr. Frank Warren, the promoter of Tyson Fury, give his feelings on a couple of things, and he made me feel like we need to talk about it. I don't want to even say exactly. I'll be honest. I felt like maybe the fight isn't going to happen. I don't know. It just doesn't sound good to me. Like, I don't know. We shall see, though. I want to play some audio and just get your takes, the listeners, the hosts, and see how you digest it. See what you think of this particular audio, right? I mean,
I think though, before we even get into any of that, it's like you got to take. Bottom line, Frank Warren is salty with the topics that are going on, and he's got some just cause for being salty in some cases, but in some cases it's just the way that Frank Warren's always been. But I would say though, if there is anybody in the history of boxing that has shown flexibility at times, it has been Frank Warren, and maybe not like to the degree of sainthood or anything, but at least compared to a lot of other promoters out there. So I don't know. I think a lot of it's flexing, a lot of it's being salty, but yeah, man, I don't think that I didn't take it the way you did. So I think that's why it's a good thing for us to both talk about it, because I didn't take it the way you did.
Let me ask you, what did you consider him flexing exactly?
I consider him, okay, the interviewer brought up the fact that, they had talked about taking this fight over the rematch between Fury and Wilder over to the UK. But the interviewer definitely made it known and definitely stated the obvious that Vegas can compete with the kind of money, even if he does go the stadium route, that Vegas can still compete with a lot of aspects of a deal that, they can't in the UK. And so while Frank Warren did say that Fury wants the fight in the UK and he wants to make him happy, he also said that, logistics are logistics, and that, everything he said about getting more money in Vegas is, true. And I personally think that while Fury might want it in the UK, he ain't turning down nothing but his collar. You know what I mean? He's a guy who wants to get his money. He doesn't have the longevity in the sport at heavyweight that other fighters do in the lower divisions. So I think he's going to try to get his money and run.
Mike, you want to give us your take, Mike? Do you think it was flexing? I mean, how'd you receive it?
No, I didn't really think it was flexing. I think, like he said, the Vegas just can compete with anything that the UK does. So it doesn't really matter where you want to fight at. It's whether the fight makes the most money. And if you guys want to get paid, then you guys will come back to the States. Now, if they try to push for this fight to be overseas and they're not able to do it, maybe that opens up the door for the fight that we all want, AJ and Wilder.
No, definitely. But let me ask you, Mike, he seemed obviously upset about the scorecards. He called out the judge from Mexico a few times, as you know. So do you think that in Warren's mind, it's all about money or the nostalgia of, him fighting or getting Fury the fight in the UK? Is it about him being fair and one fight in the US, one fight in the UK? Or do you honestly think that it's all about the judging? It's all about, in his mind, getting Fury the fair plain odds?
I think with Frank Warren, that may be like a two-part answer. I believe it is about getting his fighter the best possible outcome, because Fury is, let's not even get it twisted, Fury is Frank Warren's number one fighter, period. That's his cash cow. That's his guy that he's gonna make his money off of. So you don't want to necessarily just serve him up, but if the right price comes that can change his life and change yours too, you take it. I mean, the first fight said he got like $2 million up front plus like the back end. So I'm pretty sure that the next fight is gonna be even bigger and be some life changing money. And you can't tell your fighter to turn down life changing money.
No, hell no, you can't. At the same time, I will say the nostalgia of both O's, it's like they got this draw, right? Okay, but and I hate saying it like this because I'm all about second chances, and the struggles that Fury went through were, in my opinion, his personal demons, and we shouldn't exploit them or talk about. I mean, it has nothing to do with him as a fighter. Oh, well, it could, but those are his things. If he gets over them, then that's great. But I'm not gonna lie, it gives me this sense of defeat, where I still think Wilder holds the chip, or I thought that Wilder held the chips heading into the first fight. With this second fight, public demand and public outcry and public opinion seems to shift the negotiating chips back into Fury's hands. I believe that.
Slightly, I agree with you. Because public perception, they have Fury as the unofficial winner. So if he's like, yo, you got to fight me. I mean, if you want to fight me, come to the UK. Wilder's kind of between a rock and a hard place. Like, yo, I need to prove that I can beat this guy. And now he's going over there. But the mitigating factor, I think, is what the interviewer brought up and what Frank obviously agreed with. And I hope I have the audio right. Let me go to it in a sec. But the finances, it just makes more sense in the UK. And I know the sheep hate to hear it, so I'm hoping that I got the soundbite at the right cue position.
Very smug over there, Frank. Keep saying next fight, rematch.
Well, I'm saying
what do we know about it?
Well, look, it's been called for. Both fighters want it, and it's up to us to on the business side of it to make sure that it happens, and that's what we'll do. We worked, as you know, very hard with BT to get it on, and we're going to do the same again. Everybody's got a great appetite for the fight. It's a bigger fight now. It's the biggest fight out there, and it will do great business both here and on the other side of the Atlantic.
And I suppose the big question is,
so I mean, based off that, are you guys confident? A, that it's happening, and B, that we won't get any issues in terms of location, because they're lobbying. Tyson lobbied for Old Trafford, and now you got his promoter backing him up on that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, and especially with that example. That said, I think it goes back to what Mike said, and the fact that I don't think Fury. Well, I don't want to get into best, but I don't think that Warren Stable is anything to laugh at it by any means. But Fury is that guy for him. He is the Kovalev of Frank Warren's stable, and so with that, I think he would be a little more flexible because he knows that his options are limited. Joshua's expressed no interest in fighting Fury, and he said that as clear as possible on ESPN. So. It would be funny that this fight not happen. Like, it wouldn't make any sense.
Mario, let me just interject, and I don't want to use the word correct, but let me just say that I interpreted that different from Joshua on both interviews, both the Zone and on First Take. I could go with the narrative that he didn't want to fight Fury, but I won't. I heard him clearly. He wants Wilder. His attention's on Wilder. If he can't get Wilder, Fury can step up for April 13th. He never made it 100% clear that he does not want Fury. He made it clear, I want Wilder first because he has the belt. Had Fury had the belt, I would want Fury first. I want Wilder's belt. Now that y'all saying Fury has this fake belt that I never heard of, fine, I'll take that too, but my mind is on Wilder's belt first. So I'm gonna at least give him credit for that, because that is the right thing to say. But it
seemed like a sidestep to me. Don't tell me you never heard of a lineal title. Don't tell me that. That's bullshit.
It's also a double standard, though, right? Like,
yeah,
for the sheep, Wilder wants to Joshua wants to fight Wilder because he wants to be undisputed, right? So, all right, Joshua has a goal, and he wants to accomplish it. Common goal with Wilder, obviously, and I can see where the confusion comes, but Wilder has a secondary goal now of proving the world that he didn't lose the first fight. You know what I mean? And even AJ says in his audio, like, look, I understand they want to have their rematch. He gets it. He gets it.
Before Mike goes, I think, in all honesty, and this might be like a conspiracy theory, and for those that don't know, and never heard me before on the show, I'm not really big into conspiracy theories. I'm really not, but it just sounds so crazy to me that AJ, the way that he's demanding the fight in ways that he hadn't come out before and really stake his claim in the same way. And for him to be like demanding this UK fight, and then for Fury to be able to demand that UK fight, it's almost like if Joshua's like alley-ooping that fight to head to the UK, because with Wilder, it's like, which way do you go? And if you're kind of being forced into this direction because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, you'll take that Fury fight for probably a bigger guarantee, or a bigger cut of the pie. I mean, and I don't know. I'm not going to say it's because Joshua's scared of Wilder, not at all. But I do believe that Joshua saw the fight, thinks, man, if I could get somebody else to take care of that dude for me, and then end up fighting the winner, it's an easier and much cleaner scenario for Joshua, as opposed to fighting Wilder and then everybody's. I mean, we love to find the next guy, and we love to find that, next foe, your Joker for your Batman, your Voldemort for your Harry Potter, like whatever. We all want that common ground enemy. And if Fury takes care of Wilder, better for Joshua.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't think fucking Fury's gonna be able to take care of Wilder, and I think if he had enough confidence or whatever it is, he wouldn't even be trying to have a fight in Old Trafford, or I maybe even heard of Old Trafford till this shit came up.
Tell me about it.
But I mean, if I understand the one of the fight in England, I totally understand. You guys got a fan base, you guys can bring out packed stadiums, but at the end of the day, we are in prize fighting. They want to fight for the biggest prize, and they want to get the most money possible. Like Dana White said, boxing is treated like a going out of business sale. Every fight they try to get the most money possible. And what you, I mean, no, but bro, it's true though.
Call me
every fight they try to get the most amount of money possible, right or wrong.
Man, whatever, B.
Nah, all right, B. You say whatever. I mean, you probably don't like the analogy. Boxing is never going out of business. Let's get this straight. But the analogy is you try to get the most money for every fight, and that's exactly what boxing do. So having the fight in England makes no sense when you can get more money in Vegas. That's my point.
Well, I mean, look, it's up to Tyson Fury and Frank Warren to, get backers to make those numbers make sense. But let me get to the audio again, just so we can get more, I guess, indication that the fight looks like it's headed to the UK or not at all.
The Atlantic.
And I suppose the big question is, where's it going to be? Because there's been talk of the football stadium. You've had a few football stadium fights in the last year. They're always great, huge events over here, huge numbers on pay-per-view over here. But then there's also the Vegas thing, which is, I think Deontay mentioned in the ring, he said wherever the most money is, and traditionally in boxing, the most money is Vegas. So is there any steps forward on that?
No, not at the moment. But
I'm sorry.
Bro, they're killing me right now, man. To my Manchester United. Manchester, I've heard Man U, but I didn't know where Man U fucking played at. So I do apologize. They play at Old Trafford. Oh, okay, my bad. I don't watch soccer.
I just wanted to stop it there because something he said, but obviously Mike cut me off and I smoked, so he ruined my train of thought. Going back to the audio.
Okay, my bad.
Cut off Mike.
Things you're saying are quite logical, and that is the logical.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Motherfucking, they mad. They mad hearing the interviewer say that traditionally there's always been more money in America, and then hearing the UK promoter say that's logical. Is she right?
That's why I didn't get it the same way, because you're catering to a certain audience, and for him to go that route and say those words, I don't know. And to be honest with you, I don't even think it is about them versus us in this scenario. You know what I mean? You got two fighters, and they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it a rematch, and so I think it's only the part of that logic is that I fought in your backyard, that you be a man and step up and fight in my backyard. And
I think he's going to
be absolutely the biggest thing. Let's go ahead and lay it out on the table. Like, you fought in my backyard, I want you to fight in my backyard now. That's the number one thing that they want to get down to. It's not really per se about, damn, man, I forget feedback. I'm sorry.
Nah, you sound great. But I'm with you, Mike. I just don't know if Wilder's ready to take a pay cut just to prove that he's a world champion, right, Mario? But we got more.
Just to go with you, yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, back to the tape.
Thinking, but Tyson wants to fight here, so we're going to do our best to try and get the fight in this country.
Especially with the judges as well, I would have thought he wanted a bit.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to think about that though. I mean, the judges should be totally impartial. And and more importantly, do a proper job. Fighters shouldn't have to worry about that.
So let's talk about.
So he's saying what all promoters are saying, Mario. That's why I'm not confident that the fight is going to happen in the UK at all, because he's like, yeah, Tyson wants it in the UK, and it's my job, and it's not like, yeah, this is what we're doing. He also just, again, agreed with the interviewer on the finances. So I feel like he's going through the motions so that Tyson doesn't watch this interview the way that he watched Freddie Roach's interview and have an issue with him, because we're going to touch on that too. Frank watched it, Tyson watched it, and it's just like we said when we watched the Freddie Roach interview. They're not happy. They were not happy. He should have never came out publicly and said what he said. Frank is not happy. We have the audio for that, but we'll stick to, UK, US, and just your thoughts on the audio and its interpretation. How do you feel? Are we getting it in the US? Is it going to be in the UK? Are we not getting this one?
I want to focus on your audio for a second, because a lot of things you said were correct and great. But the one thing that you said that really rang true to me was you said going through the motions. You see, when it comes to negotiations time, and I've been told this by, several advisors and managers, like, it's a lot about coming in there not saying what they already know. You want to build up this thing in your head. Like, if you're in there and you say in the media, we're not taking less than 2 million. We're not taking less than 2 million. We're not taking, everyone knows that. So when you go in there, they already know that you're not taking less than a certain amount. That is strength. Okay, so for him to say, oh, you shouldn't have to think about judges and the way things go, like, come on, Frank Warren's been in this business for a very, very long time. He knows that there is a stigma with coming to America, or UK fighters coming to America, and vice versa, and for every single one of them that came over here, they've done something to us, and it's just that thing. So for him to be building it up now, and like you said, going through the motions, I think that's all it is. I think he's grandstanding. Okay, he's saying a lot of things that to try to give himself a stronger opposition when he gets to the negotiation tables. And this is not hating on Frank Warren at all. I think that the logistics of it will make him crumble like a chair when it comes to actual negotiations. And I don't think that it's going to be in the UK. I really don't. I think that it would be in the UK for one reason and one reason only. If the money is close enough to Vegas, obviously, then I think that Deontay will say, you came to my backyard, and I think he'll be a man. I think Wilder is more a man. For everything he lacks in technical fighting, for everything that makes Wilder a very flawed champion, he's got a backbone. He really does.
There's only one Deontay Wilder.
I totally agree with you. You kind of lay the groundwork. You kind of posture to like get the things you want in the future, because right now you're just putting it out there for public opinion and public consumption to like help them build your narrative. So I totally agree.
All right. Before we open up the phone lines, and if you want to call in and give us your opinion on this morning's topic, remember, every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. West Coast, 2 p.m. UK time, TBV in the morning. If you want
905, 906, depending on this. You
want to give us your opinion on the topic, call in. Remember, you can add Nestor Gibbs on Skype, but you must add me as a friend in order to be part of the conversation. We're going to shift our attention to the audio on Frank Warren, and I want to say Team Fury, but you guys give me your interpretation. But the whole Freddie Roach talking about Ben Davidson's training methods during the fight.
Prove a lot of people wrong. I think his trainer in the corner, all but one person even seems thrilled with his performance.
I'm sort of puzzled by it. I see that interview with Freddie, and I've got a lot of respect for Freddie, but why on earth did he come out with that? I mean, Ben done a great job. The only reason Tyson Fury didn't win that fight was because of the judging, not because of Ben Davison. Ben Davison and him had a plan. They worked very hard for the last year. They've worked hard in getting his weight down, getting himself match fit, and working out a plan that worked. If the judges had scored it correctly, Ben would be a hero. And for me, he's a hero anyway, because I watched him in the corner. Obviously, before the fight, it was a big occasion for him. There were a lot of people who had doubts about it. 26-year-old, has he been to that level before? What will happen if the panic sets in? Well, you know, things happened in that fight, the 2 knockdowns. I think they got their tactics right, and I'm surprised at what Freddie said. I mean,
Thoughts, gentlemen, thoughts.
I mean, same thing you said when you first heard it. Why is Freddie talking like that? And my thing was maybe he got instruction from somebody to like spill the beans, but it seems like everybody is surprised, is caught off guard, and doesn't know what the fuck Freddie's doing. So
I want to hear more about that theory.
Well, I thought that maybe Tyson's brother or Tyson's somebody in Tyson's camp didn't really like the way maybe Ben Davis wasn't being as aggressive as maybe some would have liked. So maybe they told Freddie to make some commotion, and maybe he did. But maybe they go ahead.
So look, there's a when you talk about fights, there's like 2 aspects to the fight. You know, when you're playing Monday morning quarterback, right? There's the game plan, and then there are the adjustments. Those are the 2, you know, major parts of it, whatever. For everything that Freddie Roach said, I think that the problem for me, you know, I'm not even talking about my problem because it's really the same as Frank Warren. We're talking about the audio with Frank Warren, and he definitely sounds upset, and I understand why he's upset. I understand that the things that Freddie Roach said, you know, why they would upset him and Fury. But he was wrong and he was right. I think that when they saw early on that their game plan was working, the adjustments weren't made to be the aggressor, and for a lot of reasons, and it might have been a bad call, but I think there were moments in that fight where you could have really taken the bull by the horns. Would that have gotten you knocked out permanently, or would that have prevented both knockouts? Because there was never a point where Wilder was intimidated of Fury. It was like he couldn't figure him out, and those are 2 different things, and it makes you fight 2 very different ways. So, you know, he was right and he was wrong, but just the way that he went about it. And listen, it's so funny too, because I wasn't able to be on that show when y'all talked about it. But the one aspect that I think that Javi brought up, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Danny, I don't remember, somebody brought it up, was that, you know, Freddie Roach never liked when people did that to him. He would get so pissed off when people did that to him with Pacquiao and, you know, the Marquez fights. And, you know, he would get so upset. And so putting himself in that place, it was just a bad look.
That might have been me. I
think it was you now that I think about it.
I think I said Freddie like only has like one style, and the style he knows is aggressive. So of course he would want Ben Davison to be more aggressive.
I mean, looking at the fight in retrospect, yeah, you can see where Tyson could have probably picked up the pace. But that's easy to say about anything in retrospect. I'm just happy that, again, I'm proven right. You know, I said that this was possibly something that the team wasn't even aware of. I said it was wrong. You know, we normally on this show dissect and analyze body language, videos, all types of things that we get our hands on. And we're normally accused of overanalyzing, looking into things too much. So it's always good when it comes back full circle and we realize that overanalyzing was right on point, because it just didn't make any sense, bro. Like, if you're part of the camp, you're part of the camp. But obviously, Freddie is trying to take over the camp. And
is Freddie around for the rematch?
We'll see. We'll see.
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Remember,
we'll see. If you were Tyson Fury,
you cut me off again.
I'm sorry, man.
Like the cutoff machine. In my my original assessment, I said that he won't be, because I believe everything Tyson has showed us in the media, you know, because we don't know him personally, right? Even though I've spent time with him, I don't know him personally, but I think that everything he showed us in the media, he showed us that he's a loyal guy. You know, he's a rider for his friends. He's shown us that he buys his friends cars. He's there for his friends emotionally. He's there for his friends during their big fights. His friends are on social media there for him. So he's just proves to me that he is a man's best friend, and he ain't gonna cut off Ben Davison for Freddie. Will he maybe try to mend the relationship so the two can stick around? Yes, but ultimately I see Ben staying, and if anyone's got to go, the one hitting the road will be Freddie, Jack.
Well, real quick, I think that if he's smart, he stays. If he, and I'll explain that real quick, but if he's smart, he stays. I don't think he will be there, though. That said, I'm not saying that Tyson Fury is not smart, so I wouldn't be surprised by either decision, but if he's smart, he will stay. And the reason why is because what Freddie Roach does really well with a lot of fighters is he's able to show them that picking moments of aggression. You know, obviously everybody knows Amir Khan is one of the most talented fighters that we've had in the last 10, 20 years. But the reason he wasn't so successful, and Ness alluded to this a couple shows back, was that, you know, he never fully adapted from, I don't think it was the amateur style. I think it was the amateur mindset, that amateur approach. The one aspect of his game that I think Freddie Roach helped him with was picking moments when to be aggressive. I think a lot of those times is what got knocked out. You know, people, and Javi, I think the other day said it, he has a glass jaw. He doesn't have a glass jaw. He has if he had glass jaw, then he wouldn't have gotten up a lot of the times when he got knocked down or knocked down. And so I think that Freddie Roach could be a huge asset this time around when looking at the tape and helping Fury to realize when to pick those moments, you know, against Wilder.
Well, you know the number, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time to voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Remember to press 1. My boomeranger Oliver, I see you, but you have not pressed 1. Add Mr. Gibbs on Skype as Mike continues to cut me off. Go ahead, Mike.
I thought you were like taking a break in between your words, man. My bad. But
he does that, so you can't hate on Mike.
Yeah, I just don't think that they will bring Freddie Roach back for this camp. Knowing Tyson Fury and just like knowing him, the media, like Ness said, he's a very loyal person, and this is what Freddie done. Doesn't seem to be in agreement with anybody in the Fury camp. So I don't know if they will have Freddie Roach back. And if you do bring Freddie Roach back, what kind of message is that sending to Ben Davison? You know what I'm saying?
Does it make him second guess himself? Yeah, very, very astute opinion.
I think that, you know, bringing him in was an issue. You know, that was a mistake from the beginning. I thought that would upset, hurt Ben, you know, I don't know, put him in his feelings, and it didn't. But
I think the only reason they brought him in because they were using his gym. I mean, I'm not saying it like that, but I think Tyson threw him a bone. I mean, I'm using the gym. You are a legendary trainer. Come on.
I think it could have gone ways because listen, he got a lot of publicity because he brought in Freddie. That was like it caused a little media buzz. Like, oh shit.
And it was at a time where there was a lot of negative publicity hanging around that gym, or maybe not a lot, but there was definitely a hurt in the air, I guess.
Well, let's go out to the sponsors and then get to our callers.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
One more thing, if you're listening right now, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. It helps with the visibility of the show. And if you're doing any kind of Christmas holiday shopping this season, go ahead over to ThaBoxingvoice.com and click on the affiliate sponsors link and go ahead and bookmark that Amazon link that we so brightly put right there in front of you. When you bookmark that link.
Damn, Mike, I was right here like smiling. I'm like, oh shit, he finally got it. You fucked up on that last call.
Yeah.
You almost had it.
When
you almost had it all the way.
When you bookmark that link, you can do all your holiday shopping during that link, and we get a little kickback. It costs you absolutely nothing. Thank you so much.
Mike.
Baby Mike.
Mike is my man right there, B. We gonna smash it up, okay? So before we go to any callers, We want to give some love real quick, so let's get some sound effects going on here. What we got for our 5-star reviewers on iTunes? Yes, in the words of Rafi in the UK, yes. So this one is titled "Thank You," and it comes from the USA, and this guy's name is Droz, and he says, "That's all you can say to this podcast. Great for a casual and great for a diehard. Keeps us in the loop and sometimes ahead of the news. Much love, TBV." So that was a fitting title, right? Because as you read the message, the title is "Thank You," and he says that's all you can say to this podcast. So thank you, my friend, for taking out the time in your day. Drop us that 5-star review, letting the world know how you feel about this show and spreading the love, because telling a friend to tell a friend is the only way that you keep us number one in the world. All right? Don't let those other guys tell you anything different. There's only one top boxing podcast. Everything else is underneath. There's only one. It's not arrogance. You know what I'm saying? As my man AJ would say, I don't wear all the jewelry around my neck. You feel me? I got the belts. Let's get out to Oliver in Bermuda. Yo, I was looking up trips to Bermuda. Jesus Christ. It's like expensive over there. Like super expensive. Not only the flight, but just
it's
like
actually the most expensive.
Go ahead. Tell me.
It's
Tell us
actually the most
about it.
expensive place to live.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
in the whole world?
Yeah. So I mean, in the whole world. I mean, for example, let's say you're trying to get just a studio apartment. It'll cost you anywhere between $1,600 to $2,000 just for a studio. We're not even talking about a 2-bedroom or anything luxurious. It's definitely expensive. Yeah, I'm at where I didn't have the opportunity to listen to the entire interview or the entire podcast. I just have a couple questions as far as I think I mentioned it once before, but do you think that Anthony Joshua coming out, doing interviews, and this is the same guy that said he wasn't even going to come to the fight. I mean, he doesn't even strike me as a legit boxing fan. Do you think that he's just really trying to ride the wave that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder created? Because they weren't even thinking about putting him on the fight. He's saying now that I have a date, I have everything set up for you. Let's just do the fight in April. But prior to that, they were talking about doing the winner of Chisora and White. And so there was no interest prior to the fight of Wilder doing that fight. And we all know what happened before then. So that's the first question. And really it's just a statement that another variable why I think Roach won't be in the corner is because, I think a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. And I think that's what we all saw with Tyson Fury. In addition to that, his trainer did pick him up from a very dark space. And so, I mean, that's a bit bigger than boxing. So
great point.
I think it's more important to have everything. I think it's really important to have everything smooth in the camp and for everyone to be on the same page. And fuck Freddie Roach. That was kind of bullshit. But that's my call. Thank you. Everybody do the thumbs up and all that jazz. I'm really enjoying this podcast. And it's a Boomerang. Everybody is only, I think, $40 a month, but it's very well worth it, especially considering all the material these guys put out. So talk with you guys later. I'll still be listening.
Listen, that was a great observation. Talking about your first statement, it was a great observation because to me it rang so true. Even before all of this, I questioned how much Joshua really not committed to his own boxing, but just as a boxing fan in general. I mean, over the years, we've talked to so many boxers that say they don't watch boxing. They never watched boxing. They got into boxing, and that's really their only affiliation with it. For him to come out on national TV and talk about he's never heard of the lineal title, like he's either trolling or he just started watching boxing when his fights came out on HBO. Like it's crazy. Like
don't get twisted. Hey, bro, I was the same shit. I was on that same shit.
Yeah, but Mike, you just
okay. But being dedicated to it now is a lot different than not giving a shit about anything but yourself.
No, wait a minute, Mike. That analogy sucks because you just started watching boxing. He's a gold medalist, totally different. Like for him to blame Robert McCracken, because that's who I'm gonna say he's blaming. He said when I was coming up, they ain't tell me nothing about no leaning. So who brought him up? His trainer, right? McCracken. He had him from the amateur. So like that's who he's saying never told him. It is what it is. But like Mario said, it just shows how pathetic, how bad it's come. This is how bad it's come. He had to come. You don't get it. Mike, you can make all the faces you want. We're talking about a guy who says, I don't listen to comments. I don't watch videos. I'm chilling. I'm doing me. But now you got to come to the U.S. You got to get asked the same question over and over, and you have an answer. Like Oliver said, again, credit to him. He's right. We weren't talking about Wilder versus AJ for April 13th. We knew it was Dillian White. We only started saying Dillian White Chisora winner after Chisora knocked out Takam. Dillian White was always April 13th. You know, then Usyk joined the gang, and it's like, oh shit, maybe Usyk could flirt around. Then it's like Usyk's trainer's like, nah, we still want a few before AJ.
Now look, I think y'all got it. Y'all got it kind of. I see what y'all doing, but I think y'all got it kind of misconstrued. Like he didn't. He didn't
want to play devil's advocate today.
I'm not. I'm just
try to play the other side. Go ahead.
No, I'm looking at the thing, and y'all say he has to talk. He has to do damage. No, he doesn't. He don't say anything. He came to a DAZN event, the zone first big event that they are promoting. Why not bring your second biggest star to your biggest event? And then you have him do camera time, but I don't think that he was like back into a corner or like made to look foolish at all.
Okay,
wait, for not talking.
Wait, because you're trying to make it seem, which is a very good excuse. Absolutely. He's a partner, allegedly. We don't have any facts, but we hear rumors that he's a partner or he has shares. So absolutely. Canelo's doing a debut on DAZN. It's Madison Square Garden, the old mecca of boxing. Yeah. Bring out AJ because he's a face of DAZN. That has nothing to do with First Take, Poppy. He ain't got to come on First Take, and that's where he shit the bed. That's where he said he never heard a lineal title. That's where Max Kellerman pushed him against the corner and said, what the fuck is going on? We don't believe you want the fight. Us, well said. America, don't believe you want the fight. That's where shit hit the fan. Not on DAZN where 15,000 people watching. On ESPN First fucking Take. That's where shit hit the fan. Motherfucking SI's, what's his name, Mario? You know him better than me. I'm fucking name the writer that's the night on DAZN. Fuck.
Chris Mannix.
Chris
Mannix, yeah.
Chris Mannix, since the beginning of DAZN, I've been saying that I love Chris Mannix, and he keeps proving it. He seen what happened on First Take, and I ain't saying that influenced him because he was going to put his foot on the AJ neck anyway, but he kept it on AJ neck. He kept that foot right there. What's got to happen to make this fight? And he still ain't saying the right shit because what's got to happen is we got to sit down like men and negotiate. You can't keep saying, well, I got all the belts, so that's like I should get 75%. Like, I mean, the sheep don't even listen to what comes out this man's mouth. Like, he said that. And look, it's understandable because from a business standpoint, Mario, I get it. Bro, I hold so much of the heavyweight division, I'm entitled to a bigger share. But that ain't how it works in boxing because if it was like that, Floyd Mayweather would have got, again, 75% of the pot, which he didn't. Why? Because it takes two to tangle. It takes two people to make something special in this sport that explodes into all these pay-per-view buys. Fury Wilder did only 325,000. Do we really believe that AJ Wilder will not do more? Do we really believe that that won't crack 1 million? Remember, it's no different than when Gennady and whoever the fuck he got in there on pay-per-view, Daniel and David. It didn't do over 200,000 buys, 170,000, 190 was the highest rumor. They never even wanted to bust those rumors and bring in facts because nobody wanted to know the truth. But when Gennady got in there with Canelo, 1.3. He got in there with Canelo again, 1 point whatever. I'm just saying, man.
Real quick, one side point.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Mike.
No,
Because I'm not
I
going
was
to
just
talk about
gonna
that.
say, if a man, and I hate doing this because I'm a big fucking Wilder fan, but at the end of the day, if a man is making $20-some million a fight, right? You can't expect him to go into a harder fight for the same amount of money or even less amount of money, bro. That's the whole thing.
You know I'm about to graduate from business, right? So you know more math than me. What was the rumor, Mario? Because you're more of the reader. What was the rumored number for Mayweather's purse? I don't know by heart. I don't know the percentages, but together,
wasn't like 300 million.
Together with math, we can find it. If one of you guys, while we get to some callers, can Google, find out Mayweather's purse, find out Pacquiao's purse, do the math, and we'll find out what percentage split was there of the pie. We'll know, if Joshua's entitled to be asking for 75 fucking percent, or should he be doing a fucking 60-40, 55-45? I mean, Canelo.
I got it right now. I got it.
Mike, before you give that information, and let's get to one caller before you do that. Canelo fucking Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez gave Gennady what? Because you're the Mexican on the band, Mario. What he gave Gennady the second time? 47%? 47.5%? And he's Canelo. I know they lied on the DAZN press conference saying that AJ is the biggest star in boxing. That's bullshit. Until AJ is selling 1 point something international pay-per-views or American pay-per-view, excuse me, he ain't doing it. This money costs more. Canelo's pay-per-view with fucking Gennady was $100, bro. $95, some shit like that we had to pay. So don't tell me he's the biggest star. Canelo is the biggest star. It's just simple, man. But got some callers, and then we'll get to Mike. We're going to Javier, our mastermind. Talk to me. Good morning.
Yo, what's up? Good morning, man. I don't think it's gonna work in the UK. You gotta think about it. They say it's gonna be. You gotta bid. It's not we just gonna go there. It gotta be a bid more. And also, you gotta think about you ain't gonna be able to do a pay-per-view over here if you going to the UK. And there's more money over here.
I don't 100% think that's true.
So we gonna do a pay-per-view at like 5:00 p.m. When's the last time a pay-per-view ever been at like 5 p.m.?
I totally agree with Javi. You cannot
I get it, but I don't think that's true. That's all. I don't think they're going to put that money on the floor.
Answer my question. When's the last time a pay-per-view has ever been at 5:00?
Listen.
And when are people home at 5:00 on Saturday?
They're not going to leave that money on the floor, man.
I'm just asking you. You ain't answer my question at all.
I can't answer your question, Javi.
When?
I said I cannot answer your question, but what I know is big money don't get left behind. They scrape all that shit up.
But you're going to leave big money not doing the fight in the U.S. That's the problem.
But that's what I'm trying to say. They're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out.
And they have the means to figure it out, too.
What means?
Well, what I'm saying is there are other aspects of the fight that can generate revenue in the UK, with stadiums and even like, man, I don't know how DAZN works with Joshua, so it's hard to say what he could offer in terms of shared revenue. I don't think it'd be the same. I absolutely agree with you, Javi, but I don't think the numbers would be super different, though.
I think it would be. If the fight is at 5:00 instead of prime time at say 9, maybe 8, 9, something like that, the numbers, the pay-per-view numbers are going to be way different, and I promise you that.
But you see, that's the thing. Our 9 o'clock is what? They're 1 in the morning, maybe.
That's 5 hours.
Depending on the time of the year.
It's 2 o'clock. The same time, the morning time, the same time it's gonna be at nighttime. If we do a show at 9 in the morning and it's 2 o'clock there, it's 9 o'clock at night, it's 2 o'clock there.
Yeah, but for daylight savings, it goes back because I know sometimes the dudes tell me, damn, the show's at 1 now, it's usually at 12. So what I'm saying, depending when the fight is put on, they could go live in the US at 9 o'clock, midnight, UK time because Floyd fights or get in the ring at 11 sometimes. And Pacquiao walking at 11:30, so they could make Tyson Fury and motherfucking Wilder be in the locker room till midnight to get these live pay-per-views at 9 p.m. USA time.
But who wants to agree to that, Ness? That's not, nobody wants to fight that.
Bruh, money makes you agree. You lucky you a mastermind.
The
You gonna get
card
to talk
starts.
again,
The
'cause
card
you
starts
bugging.
at 9.
Doggy,
I'm not saying
Doggy, the
fight
card
will be at
could start
The
at
card
9. Use your mastermind status now. I'm gonna make you use it. Listen to me. The card could start at 9, but they could go with the pay-per-view. Fuck the undercard. They worried about the money that they're trying to make on a thing. Anyway, look, that's just
No way they're gonna put a main event. A main event
that's
at
not
12
true.
o'clock.
Listen,
UK?
fighters have. Well, look, I don't know, and it does sound a little far fetched, but I'm with Nestor because we've seen Pacquiao fight at what was it like 11 in the morning before. The UK fans will put up with it. They are the greatest fans in the world. They'll put up with it. They will stay and rock out, and they sound like it's prime time over there. Okay, so if the fighters agree because of money, like Ness said, then it's all good, and we've seen these guys do that before.
Yo, it's not even only the fighters. Manny Pacquiao it's not only the UK fans, it's all fans. Manny Pacquiao made us wait while he watched the basketball game, remember? Like, we waited for him.
Yep.
What the fuck is y'all talking about? And it was a pay-per-view. Like,
Y'all are tripping.
What we tripping about, Mike? What we
Putting a fight on at 12 o'clock night at 12 midnight in the UK. That's fucking ludicrous.
Brother.
We
as Americans get Manny Pacquiao and Floyd walking into the ring around 11:30 p.m. What are you talking about?
Bruh, that's Las Vegas time. That's Las Vegas time. They're fighting still during the daytime.
Doggy, East Coast time.
Exactly, East Coast time. These guys are watching it at midnight.
When I'm doing an immediate reaction, you forgetting that it's 1 in the fucking morning over here.
Exactly.
I'm talking about for a crowd to be at a stadium at midnight is not going to happen.
Nah, I think UK could do it. I really do.
What don't you get? They already there. What don't you get? Like, we already here.
We are here at home, but we're not at a stadium watching a fight at midnight, starting off at midnight, not leaving the stadium until about 1:30.
You're talking about the stadium.
I think the UK would do it though. I really do, and I think that would sound just as loud as if it was 8 o'clock at night. I really do. I don't think the UK is the problem.
Talking about I didn't know he was talking about the actual stadium because I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about telecast. We talking about pay-per-views. You see, Mike's always on another fucking playing field.
No. I thought
you cutting me off. We was talking about pay-per-view buys and being able to sell a pay-per-view in the UK. You talking about the fans in the stadium not wanting to stay there till 12 o'clock. Like, two different shit. We ain't talking about
that. Bro. No, don't do that. Javi called in and said there's no way you can sell a pay-per-view at 5 o'clock during the daytime. You was like, push it back to 12 o'clock midnight, and then it'd be like 9 or 8 hour time. That's how you can do it. And I said there's no way you can sell a pay-per-view in the UK to their fans at a stadium at midnight. For
again, you talking about fans in the stadium. We talking about pay-per-view. We talking about streaming that pay-per-view. How we gonna see it? That's what we talking about.
It's just hard. It's hard to really gauge it, but there is precedent. That's the only point I'm trying to make. As much as it sounds like I was against Javi's call, it's absolutely smart. You know, Javi, nothing wrong about what he said, and he's probably the most logical one at this point talking. But that said, I don't think he is 100% correct, though. I don't think that I don't think the opposing side of that argument is completely ludicrous.
Let me get back to him. He's putting his boomerang status in effect.
Javi, back me up, brother. Back me up.
Oh, my nigga. How y'all just gonna cut me off and then cut me out? How the fuck
Yo, you heard the bell.
You cut me off and then you cut me out, my nigga. How you do that?
You heard
Come
the bell.
on now. You took my point and made your own narrative and said this shit about pay-per-views. Didn't let me explain it. All right.
Get him, Javi. Get him.
Yeah, my nigga. I'm saying the card, there's going to be undercards. This it's not going to be just Wilder Fury, okay? It's not. That's not happening. I promise you it's not. So the card is going to have to start at 12.
You acting like PBC on Fox don't do main event first, undercards after. Shut it up.
Nigga, is that pay-per-view?
Hey, they could do a new model is what I'm telling you. They
Man, get your ass out of here, Ness. You got all kind of shit.
You know why they did main event first on Fox? Because of time. Because
Nigga,
of time.
Can I explain?
Oh,
Can you be
you want
quiet
to
for a second?
explain that?
Cut off. Hold on. All right. Like I'm saying, my nigga, you want to maximize revenue, right? Maximizing revenue would be having a fight in Las Vegas in US time, right? You can get as many views, and the fucking views might be at 1 million this time with how big the fucking last fight, the ending of the last fight was and the after effects. So,
my nigga, Las Vegas time still make it midnight for me. You know what the fuck y'all talking about? Give a fuck
nigga,
if they fight in Las Vegas.
talking about you right now. Come on, calm down.
I'm letting you know it's still midnight for me, so why it can't be midnight for them? It's always midnight for me.
I'm talking about the people at the...
I was just watching Gilberto Ramirez at fucking midnight. So who the fuck cares if they got to stay up a little bit later to watch a pay-per-view championship top 2 fight?
We're saying the card is going to start at 12 o'clock.
Start it backwards like PBC do on live TV.
I don't think it has to start at that time, though. They could start it earlier. Why wouldn't they be able to start it earlier, Javi?
Okay, if you're not gonna put it at prime time, you're gonna start that shit at 7 o'clock. You're gonna get less viewers on pay-per-view. That's all I'm saying. But hey.
The main event is at 9, Javi.
No, the fuck, it's not here. No, it's not, bro. If we start the card at 9, the main event.
If we do it at 12 their time, the main event at 9 would be here at 9. Main event 9 over here. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I was thinking you were saying too.
He don't get it. Like they
is gauging it to where it works out.
How would it be 12 our time? I'm not understanding. If the UK is 5 hours ahead of us, it'll be 2 o'clock.
No, but he's just saying that he has to put up with that too, so that if he puts up with it, other people will too.
I just don't fucking understand.
No, what you guys are not understanding. Javi's whole point was the UK. If you put the pay-per-view in the UK, right? It would have to be sold at 5 o'clock during the daytime here, and nobody's gonna buy the pay-per-view at 5 o'clock in the daytime here. Now, if you try to push it back like you suggested, this push it back to fucking midnight. Stadiums have curfews. People have been saying that in the chat profusely. Stadium have curfews, so there's no way you can start a main event at midnight over in the UK.
You know what the problem is? Frank Warren put this out here, and it's working beautifully. We're getting away from the truth, and we figured it out in this back and forth ridiculous conversation. Asking for this fight to be in the UK is a duck tactic. I know you know how badly that man got knocked out in the 12th round, and I feel he may not want that sauce no more. I'm not forgetting that Good Morning Britain interview the day after via fucking Good Morning Britain live in Los Angeles. He's talking about let's make UK history with Joshua. He ain't talking about, yeah, I won, they robbed me, I'm going to come back and beat them just so they can't. No, that's not what he's talking about. Now we hear his motherfucking promoter talking about, now let's do it in the UK, and we can't even make sense of it. The promoter admitted in the interview, we played the audio, that the finances don't make sense over there. But and we're scrambling our brain trying to make could this be, is it not? You tell me.
No, listen. I'm not saying you're wrong, but what it could be is him making all this fuss about it being in the UK to get something else. You know what I mean? It could be what's the word? Not persuasion. Where you show him something over here just to get him over there. You know, it could be a way of upping his percentage. You know what I mean? It could be a way of getting more of the pay-per-view revenue. It could be a way of getting anything from hot dog money to t-shirt sales, whatever it could be. It doesn't have to necessarily be a duck. I think it could be a way of him drawing the line, him drawing the line in the sand about it being in the UK, and then finally saying, all right, man, look, if it's not going to be in the UK, then we need such and such. You know what I mean? It could be a very smart business tactic.
I'll be honest and say that I don't think that they drew a line in the sand on any audio that I've heard just yet. They haven't said it. Oh, it's got to happen in the UK.
No, you're right.
But we'll get
to.
Go ahead.
Is there any way we can start and putting polls with our topics in the morning time, like a little poll, like people can go vote on, right here on the screen?
Not on the screen.
Oh, okay.
But on our community page, we could set up a poll, I think.
Okay.
We got to get to, speaking of community, we got to get to our community members on Patreon. So I know there's some people out there. I see you messaging me and stuff like that. There's no skipping of the line. You know, you can't message me to skip the line. You want to skip the line, you got to have that status. Speaking of, we're going to go to Washington, D.C., to Jay Hardcore, who is a boomeranger. Thank you for being a patron, my friend, and good morning to you.
Dollar D Beyonce production.
Jay Hardcore Boxing. You don't know shit about boxing.
Boxingvoice.com.
Okay.
Good morning, my TVD family. How y'all doing today?
Great day,
good, man. We good.
Good. Glad to hear that, man. Glad to hear that. Listen here, man. I was sitting here listening to the podcast, man. And Ness, you said something magical. I mean, the main thing when it talks about, you know, with Wilder and Joshua is it takes two to tangle. And they both cannot make that type of money without each other. You got to have each other to make that type of money, you know, and that's just the bottom line. So they're gonna have to figure that out. But going to that Fury and a Wilder thing, man, I'm gonna be truthfully honest. I don't think Tyson Fury is gonna take that fight again. I mean, not first. Personally, I feel though that he's gonna fight Joshua first, because if he fights Wilder first, he's not gonna get past Wilder this time, and he's not gonna be able to get that Joshua money. So common sense is going to tell him to fight Joshua first, because most likely he's going to outbox Joshua, and then get the second bag with Wilder. I mean, that's what I personally think.
Yeah, but all the Fury fans are probably saying Wilder's windmill Wilder, Wilder's sloppy Wilder. He already outboxed Wilder. Fight Wilder first. Get a belt. Have better negotiation leverage when you negotiate with AJ.
That sounds all good and good, but we all know Wilder is dangerous all the way to the 12th round. Are you going to take that chance and not get that Joshua fight because you done got knocked out this time? Or do you want to just go ahead with Joshua where you probably can outbox him opposed to Wilder? I mean, Wilder is dangerous, man. We know that. Come on now, we was in the 12th round. We all sitting around with the elephant in the room saying, you know what? You're going to lose this one. And voila, what happened? Bam! Knocks this dude out, Jack. I mean, come on. And he's capable of doing it at any time. Am I not right?
You absolutely right, baby. You know it.
Bomb Squad! Yo. That's why he is our dude, yo. Because he's dangerous, man. And nobody wants to fight him. That's why he got 40 fights with a lot of unknown cats, because the top of the ranks do not want to deal with this dude because he was high risk, low pay. So they stayed away from him. Come on, they staying away from Luis Ortiz. So what do you think they're going to do about Wilder? Yes! They don't want the smoke, man. They don't want it. Hey, listen,
you know what?
I love this podcast. I can't wait to hear it every goddamn day, man. Y'all need to get down with TBV's, the best podcast out here. Become a patriot, support it, and as I say, stop shoplifting the show. That's my call.
You know why that makes sense too? Because if you think about it like this, look, if he fights Wilder and loses, then nobody really cares. I mean, all we want is Wilder Joshua after that, and everything else is a letdown. If he fights Joshua, he can lose and still have the narrative to sell the pay-per-view that I really beat Wilder, and I had the stones to fight Joshua when Wilder didn't. So he can lose and still not plummet his stock the way that Wilder loss would plummet his stock.
Bro, that would be so fucking incredibly smart by Tyson Fury if he was able to steal the Wilder fight, then go in and steal the AJ fight back to back.
For real, right?
That is some some next level like chess shit. Like,
and that's
you
cojones
gotta,
shit.
I know, right? And you got like half the people saying, you know what I'm saying, whatever the other saying about the first fight, it was a robbery, it was a draw, whatever you want to say. But I thought Wilder won. Then you go fight AJ, a guy who's not as athletic as Wilder. You might have more success. So,
And you know
man.
why? And you know why that works too? And you know why that works too? Because of the splits and the money. Listen, Ness said earlier he didn't go to business school. I did go to business school. The business school I went to was the Ric Flair School of Business. I graduated in the mid-90s. And to be the man, you got to beat the man. That was the first lesson we learned. And so if he ends up being able to get one of these guys, he'll hold the cards that these guys are holding theoretically.
I love me some goddamn Ric Flair.
Let me tell you why this old Taffer shit is being floated around, and you know why this is not a ducking tactic, as I said earlier. This is a strong arm. The more we talk, the more my opinion changes. This is a strong arm because who truly can make the Joshua fight easier? Is it Wilder or is it Fury? Would Eddie actually get a fucking erection if he could make Fury AJ just to block out and freeze out Wilder again, the quote-unquote guy that nobody knows, the guy that now has changed public perception, the guy that now is being listened to? How do you mute him, steal the fight, offer Fury what he wants? He's tied up. The minute Fury's in that fight, he's tied up. If you give Fury a two-way rematch, the way he was successfully able to get one with Wilder, he's tied up as long as there's not another draw. And where's Wilder? Back to fighting Brazil and Luis Ortiz.
But
the winner of White, and I think that's a more dangerous fight.
I don't know if he'll fight the winner of White. I mean,
you're right. You're right.
I know everything changes at that point because now it's a new landscape. Now you know mentally, Fury AJ, they're tied up. This is why if you're Wilder, you got to lock this deal in. You got to lock this deal in because you know what? Wilder isn't thinking AJ. Even though he could be secretly dealing with AJ, he ain't because he's thinking Fury. But guess who could be secretly dealing with AJ?
Fury.
That's fucking right.
But
That's
there is a
good point.
caveat to the Fury and AJ thing.
What's that?
One guy's on BT Sports, the other guy's on Scout Sports. We don't know how that's gonna materialize itself.
Ooh, that is true. But guess what? Is it a big pay-per-view domestically?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're gonna split the revenue the same way Mayweather Pac did. Get out of
Yeah,
it.
I think so, and I think it's an easier deal to be made than it would be with like HBO Showtime.
We'll see. We'll see.
Callers, get to the callers, get to the callers. Hey, Jay Hardcore, remember you're a boomeranger. Hit that one button, get out of the queue, hit it one more time, get back in the queue. Same with you, Oliver. We're going out to Gary, Texas. Talk to me. Good morning.
Yo, what's going on, TVV?
What's going on, Gary? How you doing today?
What up, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I want to tell you about this fight being in the UK. Fury says he wants to fight in the UK. Let me make my point, right? Ness, you're in Jersey, right? You like being in Jersey? You like doing your show in Jersey?
I mean, are you asking me if this is where I prefer to be?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you. I'm asking you a serious question. You like doing your show in Jersey? You like being in Jersey? You like doing it where you're from?
No.
You do, right?
No. I want to move.
Okay, well let's say you did, right? Let's say you like doing your show out of your hometown in Jersey, and I paid you $2 million a year to do your show in Alaska. Where would you do your show?
Alaska.
I do it in Alaska, right? That's right, right. So yeah, I'm sure Fury wants to fight in the UK. I'm sure he does, but it's not going to make sense. So he'll fight in Vegas or LA or New York. That's where he'll do the fight. But he wants to fight in the UK. So this is just a negotiating tactic. Look, I'm willing to come over to the US, but I need a better split. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? In a perfect world, yeah, I want it in the UK. That's not going to happen. So I want a better split to do it in the US. It's just a negotiating tactic. You know what I'm saying?
All
right. And then Anthony Joshua. This is starting to really piss me off because we know Anthony Joshua doesn't want to fight Deontay Wilder, and we know the fight's not going to happen. He's not fighting Wilder or Fury next. he's fighting Dillian White or Derek Chisora next. Because we all know Fury and Wilder are fighting each other again, probably in April.
Do we know? Do we know? Are
Yeah,
we sure?
do. Okay. I'm 99% certain that's what's happening in April. They both want it. The fans want it. It'll be bigger than the first time. Yeah, that fight's going to happen again. I say almost certainly in Vegas in April. And Eddie Hearn has not invested all of his time and all of his money into the heavyweight division to lose it now. I'm telling you right now, AJ's not going to fight Wilder or Fury in 2019. He'll fight Chisora or White in April, and then in the fall he'll fight either Usyk or Miller, and then next year he'll fight either Usyk or Miller before he fights either Wilder or Fury. So Anthony Joshua fighting someone outside of the Eddie Hearn spectrum is not happening anytime soon because Eddie Hearn has too much money to lose by putting him in with someone who can beat him outside of the outside of his time. He's not.
Good point.
And you guys might hate that, and it might suck as a fan, but I'm telling you right now, AJ is not fighting Wilder or Fury anytime soon.
That's a good point. You know, you're absolutely right. He's got money invested in him, and most importantly, he can't afford to have him lose to somebody that he couldn't control. Afterwards, somebody he couldn't get into an immediate rematch, or somebody he couldn't piggyback that stardom off of. So, absolutely great point that hasn't been made yet on today.
Let's get to Edward in Alabama. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on? Speaking of if the fight happens in the UK, the Americans are not going to pay for no 4:00 in the afternoon pay-per-view. It's just not going to happen. So it's just posturing. I mean, we just got to look. The thing about it is, in the UK, they're used to staying up late to watch our pay-per-views. I hate that I'm staying on the East Coast and I go way up till like 12 o'clock at night to watch the fights, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to be a pay-per-view if it's in the UK. The money's not there. They're going to negotiate. It's going to probably end up in Vegas or Atlantic City somewhere.
Atlantic City, you wildin', Edward. Yo, imagine they go back to AC. I'm gonna be laughing, but happy they come to AC.
Well, you laughing, but sports betting is legal everywhere now. Do you know how much money? I think wasn't.
Oh yeah. So that changed things a little bit, I guess, because you could bet on the fight. I don't know if that's gonna attract more people to AC just because you could bet on the fight, though, Mike.
It absolutely would. It absolutely
sports betting, bro. You said yourself that they made like $90-some million like the first weekend or something like that, or the first week, the first month. Come on now, bro.
All right. I don't want to.
Here's another thing about the Atlantic City thing is also it's a shorter route for the English fans to get over there. You know, it's more of a central location. So the betting part of it is, whatever. But like I said, it might probably be in the Barclays or something like that. But the thing about AJ coming over here, it's so funny that he accused Wilder of using it. Look, AJ has no profile in America except for his link to Wilder. He's over here. The only reason we're even noticing Wilder, the only reason he was on First Take and all this thing is because of Wilder, because he's having to respond to what Wilder's saying. And guys aren't buying it. And shout out to Ness, man. Thanks for checking Coogan and finally having him do something that he needed to been done when he has these interviews with AJ. AJ is all over the place. It's sad. And Mike, you were talking about, well, why would AJ take the fight with Wilder and make the same $20 million? He's not going to. It's going to be a lot more money than that. And the other aspect is, I know guys want to call boxing a sport a business all the time, but it's a sport first. And for the sport, for the glory, go back in history, is you got to beat Wilder. You got to go out there and get his belt and establish yourself as the 21st century champion of the heavyweight division.
I think you're tripping when you say it's a sport first. Boxing is not conducted like any other sport at all. The business of boxing takes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's because look, I'm gonna tell you what's that, and like I said, it's because fans co-sign it. We are repeating something that's being said to us. Yes, every sport is conducted that way. Every sport doesn't care about if you get hurt, they're not gonna pay you your money. It's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on in every sport. But the thing about it is, like, for you new guys, man, you guys got to take some time and do some historical reference of boxing, and maybe boxing would improve, and we could stop making arguments about how much money somebody's making, and none of us getting a check from it. You know, straight up. I know that's my time, man. I appreciate you guys.
Edward, we appreciate you, man. Thank you as always. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. There's a lot of you, as my good friend Jay Hardcore would say, shoplifting the show. Hey, we're not asking for you to crack open your wallet. Hit that thumbs up button, share the show, tell someone, call in, all that helps. You want to take it a step further, head on over to ThaBoxingVoice.com, and you can still help us out absolutely free by going to ThaBoxingVoice.com/affiliate sponsors, clicking on that Amazon hyperlink, saving it, sharing it, bookmarking it, and using it repeatedly, especially right now since it's we're like 9 days away from Christmas. Get those last minute gifts using that hyperlink. We get a small kickback, and that costs you nothing. It's not like they're going to tax it onto your card or anything. In fact, they're giving us a bonus for sending you to Amazon. So use our link, and it costs you nothing. You help the show. We're going to go to Idris in the UK. What up?
Yes. What's going on? Yo, Mike, Ness, who's the other guy? My bad, man. I don't really know.
Mario.
Who's that?
Mario.
Oh, all right. What's good, you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, man. Just a few things I wanted to say. First of all, Ricky Hatton fought at 2 a.m. in a stadium in Manchester just to maximize revenue from Americans against that Costa Zoo guy.
Yeah,
my bad.
and I was thinking
Totally
of Ricky Hatton. I was
look now.
Oh,
Everybody wants to ride with Ness idea.
Good call. Thank you so much for that reference.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And
you mad, Mike the Casual?
Yeah, man. But that's crazy.
Off my board too. I need to be shooting you right now, but they stole my guns.
Yeah. Good for them.
Saying that though, I still think the fight happens in Vegas. I think they made a mistake the first time not putting it in Vegas. Second time they need to put it in Vegas. I don't even think the rematch is going to happen, honestly, because I think like both sides really seeing the dangers of a rematch, and they're seeing they're weighing it up. They're weighing it up. It is looking like it's like I think.
Hey, caller. Was that Ricky Hatton in a Costa Zoo fight in a stadium, or was it in a arena?
Don't matter, Mike. You lost.
It does matter. I mean, Stafford is a stadium.
And if it happens in Vegas, if it does happen, he goes to Vegas. There's about 15,000 Brits will go there, whether they're buying tickets or not. The Brits like to find their reasons to go Vegas and tell their wives that they're going with their boys and all of that kind of shit. And 3 times it happens like 3 times in a decade or something like that. So that's the thing about Vegas. What makes Vegas so good to Brits, even though East Coast is right there across the Atlantic. But you know what I want to say? The reason why I don't think it's going to happen, it's going to take look how quick the negotiations were for the first time when they kept saying when 2 guys won it happens. But Tyson Fury, I think he was fooling Wilder into thinking that he wasn't ready. And Wilder took the fight thinking it was easy work. And now I think both of them are really looking at each other like, yo, you're hard work, man. Do you know what I mean?
Stop trying to put my champion in there with your UK champion, okay? Because my champion has come out repeatedly saying he wants the rematch. He's been doing nothing but media saying he wants the rematch, that he don't want AJ. He wants the rematch. So don't say they both looking at each other saying we hard work. Get the fuck out of here. My champion saying I want the fight.
With you right now.
I don't want your bet. I don't want your bet. I want you not to put my
champion
champion in the same sentence as yours. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. We don't do none of that. We don't do none of that. We don't do none of that.
Plus 300 odds. I'll give you good odds. Yeah, this fight doesn't happen. Take any odds you want off me.
It's one thing to say something. It's another thing to do.
Listen.
90 seconds.
Let me tell you why I'm gonna let you. Why I'm gonna let you take that bet back, right? Because right now, I could lock in at a plus 100 on FanDuel. They'll never take that away. You know what I'm saying? If that fight don't never happen, that odd is still there. So if you want to lock in a plus 300 right now on this show, I'll lock it in. Don't end up like those that we don't speak of because you are the type
60
that can't
seconds.
pay. Because there's
But he's saying for the fight to happen though.
exactly. There's no deadline. So what if the fight happens next year? End of next year?
No, he's saying next. He's saying next.
Nah, he didn't say those words.
I thought he did.
I said next.
Yeah, I thought he did say next.
Oh, next. I don't know. We can't do that. We can't do that.
Yeah,
Fury did come out with a bit.
that's talking shit. Now I don't want to.
Listen, Mario, because it all depends on the WBC, right? They said they would sanction, but they haven't mandated, right? They need to mandate. If not, what they did mandate is Dominic Brazil. So now, what if I lose my plus 300 on a technicality? Nah.
I mean, if they,
Hell no, that ain't no technicality. Wilder could get it if he wants, and the
yeah,
WBC will
exactly.
allow it to happen.
Thank you.
Yo, we don't know.
And Fury did make a video last week back in the gym. I'm back training for you, Wilder. I'm ready for you.
Yeah, well, sign the fucking contract. Let's get this shit going. You know what I'm saying? Let's go out to looks like New Orleans.
You know?
Talk to me.
Woo!
What it do?
That's what's up, Mike.
What's good, man? We back on the main channel, baby.
Yeah, but I see y'all brought my man Mario back in the building. Yeah, he fresh off his hiatus, you dig? You know.
What up?
But check this shit out, dude. What's good, homie? But check this shit out, dude. Why the fuck Eddie Hearn can't make this motherfucking fight, man? I'm hearing about we got a billionaire that's over the network and shit. They throwing all type of money. What they throwing the money around at? The sign can know that's one guy. You know what I'm saying? You got Joshua. Who the fuck else? What they throwing the money around? Why they can't make the Joshua Wilder fight? This guy billions, they throwing around money, right? But make the fight happen. You know what I'm saying? On these sheep in the UK, man, listening to anything that Eddie Hearn said. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Hearn can't come up with $50 million. They trying to see if the money real. You know what I'm saying? And they call and show that bullshit, man. All of a sudden, we ain't never heard nothing about this man with money until the Joshua fight come around. Now they talking about is it real or not. Now he's on the interview, which we all knew the damn money was real, but Eddie Hearn said it wasn't, so they questioning this shit. Now he's saying the money was real and he flattered, but he tired. Man, come on, man. You can't see this shit? Man, they got to stop being sheep in that UK, man. Put some pressure on this dude to make the fight. They overpaid everybody else. They gave Charles Moore $5 million. That dude was a cab driver. He was a glorified cab driver, man. They gave him that money. They gave Jersey Parker the damn money. Well, why to come up? He's just a guy from Alabama now. We can't give him that much money. We got to give him what he worth. That's my code, man. You got to start putting pressure on these motherfuckers, man. They coming in there with that bullshit on TVV, man. This the real life shit. You can't come on this motherfucking side talking, buck dancing, and sidestepping, man. You
Absolutely.
Everybody else. Why you can't pay this man for a $100 million fight? You gonna get man $15 million out of $100 million? That right? Man, you crazy, man. It's smoking crack or something over there, man. That's my phone.
NO, man, thank you for calling in, and be safe on that road. You already know.
Good to hear from him.
Shout out to my truckers tuned in to the show. We love you. Support. We going out to Skype. We got a lot of callers on Skype. We're gonna go to Adam. Talk to me.
Yo, Adam.
Adam, you there?
Oh my God, how's it going? You good?
We're good. Talk to us.
Right, I think was it Mike that was talking about the possibility the Fury AJ happens before Wilder Fury rematch.
Yeah.
The new Ring magazine rankings come out and it puts Joshua 1, Fury 2, am I right?
So surely they can go for that one for the Ring magazine to get one of them belts tied up beforehand.
That's a good point.
Full perspective that way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What do you guys think about that?
No, that's a great point. Absolutely, that has not been said yet, and definitely a good point.
But the thing I don't know, so you guys are talking about also the stadium things. I know Mike was saying they have the noise ordinance stuff. So whenever AJ fights at Wembley, his fights always be on no later ring than 9:30 because they have to be out the arena before 11:30 because of like sounds and stuff like that. So they figured if it's going to be a rematch, it's going to have to be in the States, like regardless of how they're looking at money wise, and they can't fill the stadium at 9 o'clock at night because of the time over there.
Hey, Adam.
Yo.
What do you think about this new idea I think Mike floated out there of Atlantic City?
Man, yeah, that's good. Anywhere we can have a bet and a drink, man. We'll just go wherever the fights are. Innit? We don't mind traveling.
All right, brother.
No, they do not. Man, I remember too, they ranked like the greatest fans in one like obscure magazine, and they had UK fans for like, I mean, every single sport, except for football and baseball, like every sport they listed. And I remember too seeing Pacquiao and Cotto in Vegas. And if there were, I mean, look, obviously it was a bunch of American fans, but the UK was there. It was like they didn't have a dog in the fight and they didn't give a shit. Like they were just there vacationing, watching the fight. Everybody remembers that Ricky Hatton made Floyd feel like he was fighting in the UK. I mean, that felt like more like, Ricky Hatton fighting at home.
I was out there for the Hatton, Mayweather, and Mayweather Pacquiao as well. Like, we'll travel to any big fights, man.
Y'all, that's why y'all are the best fans in the world.
Go on, boys. You have a good day. Yeah, take care.
Adam, thanks for calling in, brother.
I don't know about all that. The best fans in the world, shit. They passionate though.
At least for boxing.
I'm just fucking around, bro.
We're going out to what I believe is a first-time caller. If you're a first-time caller, let me know. In what looks like Huntsville, Alabama. Talk to me.
Third coach, stand up.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, this is Clarksville, Tennessee.
Who?
You still all good, Clarksville, Tennessee. You still from the South, homie. What's up with you?
Yeah, that's what's. Hey, man, this is Rough House Boxing, bro. I'm a second-time caller. What's going on?
Rough House Boxing. What up?
Yeah, chilling. Hey, real quick, man. I'm looking at the whole Fury situation along with the AJ situation, man. Real quick question first off. Is AJ officially signed to DAZN?
Yes, sir.
Well, I wouldn't say yes, sir. I haven't seen anything after that first Povetkin fight, which they made clear was a one-fight deal. We haven't seen anything else. We've heard rumors.
But the rumors coming. Yeah, but the rumors that have come out are from very reliable sources. A and B. The way that they write about him, it's like as if everything has to include DAZN. I mean, there was even an article. It wasn't Pugmire. I can't remember who it was, but it was like Joshua and Wilder's got to happen. It's got to happen on DAZN, so they got to figure out pay-per-view. Like, so I don't know. Ness is right. There's nowhere you can go to see this, paper or find out details. But it just seems like he's very, like he's in bed with them for sure.
Okay. All right. Now, all that being said, I was just, it just had me wondering, man, do they really have the money? I know Eddie Hearn got the DAZN deal and, it's supposed to be worth whatever it's supposed to be worth and all of that. But it seems like the onus is on whoever is the A side, to make the fight. In that respect, why not just make Wilder an offer he can't refuse? It seems like they're out here, it's like somebody going to the dealership trying to buy a 2019 Bugatti, and then you go in there and you tell the salesman, "Hey, look, man, I don't want to pay any more than $500,000 for it." Go ahead, reach in your bag, make Wilder an offer that he cannot refuse. And you know, I'm also thinking about Fury and wondering, do they have the bag to facilitate anything remotely close to what Vegas will be? Because from what I've heard from other sources and people that have talked to me on my channel is that Vegas has basically written a blank check saying, "Hey, we want that rematch." So you know that it's a money aspect, and I'm thinking, do they actually have the money to satisfy Wilder? You know, because we already know that Wilder publicly put out a $50 million offer to AJ. You know, why didn't Eddie Hearn come out and flex his own steroided muscles, you know, and bank account and say, okay, well, you know, here's $40 million. Come fight the champ. You know, I don't understand. It just makes me wonder, do they have the money that they claim they have at their disposal? If they did, this is the biggest fight. The biggest fight, speaking of AJ and Wilder. That's the biggest fight.
Rough House Boxing, man, thank you for calling in.
I will say real quick, though, when he said that it sounded like Vegas signed a blank check, that was my initial takeaway when I heard them ask Frank Warren the question. Like, he didn't get defensive. He almost got like excited when they brought up Vegas. So it made me think when I heard it the first time that maybe there had been some interest gauge and he already knew maybe a little more details about what Vegas was prepared to offer.
Let's go out to Tibbs on Skype. Talk to me.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, the Boxing Voice? Listen, I'm not even gonna lie. I caught the station a bit late. I think you are talking about making a fight in the UK. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Or
we
is that
were you know, discussing making a fight in the UK and what Frank Warren basically was talking about with BT Sports on that interview last night or yesterday.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, because I didn't watch the interview, I don't want to spend too much time. But I could say, look, if it comes to the UK, that will be lit. I know the Americans are not gonna like it, but Nestor, if you pass through, we do fight night in my house. You're more than welcome. You as well, Mike. And I don't know the new guy's name or the other guy's name, but all of you are welcome.
Well, I'm coming either way, whether you know my name or not. No, I'm bullshit.
We're gonna do the live stream from your house.
No problem. Anyways, let me not waste no more time. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. See, not everybody's a sheep, man. Gonna do the live stream from his house. He gonna be like, yo, I was just joking. Like, too late. Everybody's coming.
We're having a fight party over there. We're doing an appreciation night.
Hell yeah. It'll be lit. He talk about lit. That's gonna be lit. We're gonna go to Ak on Skype. Talk to me.
Arkham Barack.
Nah, this is Ak K.
Oh, I'm gonna say, what's up, homie?
Is it me or you're talking to me? I can. Jack is the truth.
Jack, what the hell is up with you, bro? You know that your screen name now says AK. AK space K.
I don't know why it does that. I haven't changed it, so it must. I haven't touched it at all.
You
I don't know.
you have kids in the house.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Two things. I just wanted to touch on the lineal champion thing that AJ was talking about.
Are you gonna defend him?
No. I'm just trying to explain something. No, there's no defense. He can defend himself. When he said he doesn't know about the lineal championship, he then later said in another interview, who was the last lineal champion? And the interviewer said Lennox Lewis. And he goes, what happened to Lennox Lewis? And he said he retired. So how did another person, if you get the lineal champion by beating the man that beat the man, who was awarded the next lineal champion? He was trying to explain that championship is a perception, because it's now given to somebody, because it doesn't really pass from one person to another person if the last person that was recognized that held it retired. So what he's saying is that they're just making up a title. He thinks he's the lineal champion because he beat the guy that he thought was the man. But in actual fact, the last person that was known as the lineal champion was Lennox Lewis, and he retired. So how can that pass to another person?
So are we going to act like this didn't happen before? Like, are you saying that title, that lineal championship, has passed throughout the years
I'm saying that it's a perceived
without
title.
a champion ever retiring, or without it actually being, the passing of the torch, so to speak.
No, it's a perceived champion. I'm saying it's perceived. It's
All right,
not real.
all right.
A real belt.
So why should it matter? Why should it matter? It's always
that doesn't matter
been.
to me. I'm saying that it doesn't matter to him either. He's
No.
saying that he wants the
That's the
actual belt,
difference.
not the
No, it
perceived belt.
does matter. It does matter to us, and he is trying to discredit it. That's what he's trying to do
for his own agenda.
I'm saying that for a particular reason.
No,
it doesn't matter. I'm not going to defend him. I don't know
his
what's in
particular
mindset,
reason.
but I
His
understood the
particular
point.
reason is to say that Tyson Fury doesn't have a belt. That's his particular reason. That's his
That's what he's
agenda.
saying. That's exactly what he's saying, and that's what I'm trying to say to you. That he doesn't have a belt, so he's not. I'm not interested in Fury right now. I'm interested in Wilder. Anyway.
Okay, but when the interviewer, your time is up though. But when
we'll let Jack get off. I mean, we went back and forth with them.
When the interviewer responded to him, he said, well, he's the man that beat the man. He was like, all right, but didn't Vitaly Klitschko? But that's my point, that you could go down the history of boxing, and obviously it didn't always get passed down. But whoever earned that status has that status.
It wasn't like Lennox Lewis retired like last year or even 2 years ago. Like, we had a lineal champion up until this point. At the same time, what Jack is saying, and not saying at the same time, he's saying that lineal is perceived. So when you give it to Tyson Fury because of what he did, but then when he goes on his hiatus and he doesn't fight, then it's like it can be perceived in so many different ways.
That's not true. We're not giving it. We're not giving it to Tyson.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. That was poorly said.
Klitschko earned that.
That was poorly said. I admit it was poorly said. That said, though,
he is trying to say it another way, and so is AJ for their own agenda.
I agree, but he's not necessarily wrong.
Being champion that was exiled from HBO, sold over 60,000 tickets in Germany all the time. Americans didn't care about him, but he still had that lineal title. He held all the belts except for the WBC because his brother had that title as
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Now
Let Jack
AJ
get off.
ain't shit up for his fucking agenda. Get out of here, bro. Sad. It's crazy, man. Just make the fight. We're in an era where there's so many good heavyweights that it's just better to make the fight instead of talking shit. Like all these dudes could get in the mix, and it could be Hagler, Hearns, Leonard era right now before our eyes. But nah.
I mean, Vladimir would have killed for this. Vladimir would have killed to have this many recognizable names at the top of the division, and especially an American champion that he could come over and make a pay-per-view with.
Let me ask you a question, brother, because Mike wouldn't know this, and maybe Mike, you do. But when the fuck have we ever heard of Vladimir Klitschko in negotiation disputes? Long drawn. Vladimir was giving dudes life-changing money left and right. Everybody down the fucking rankings. He was fighting all his mandatories and giving out shots.
Because they didn't have any other options. I mean, the heavyweight division was
but nobody was ever saying he's giving me a slave contract. He's giving me a flat fee. He's hard to deal with. They don't want to fight. Why Vladimir for 12 years was never perceived to be a ducker, except in the eyes of David Hay, who got in there and didn't even really fight. Didn't even want to fight. He talked that Vladimir was ducking him to get the fight, just like Shannon Briggs talked that Vladimir put hands on everybody he fought, and those that beat him, he rematched them. If he didn't, whatever. The point is, he still went on to be undisputed.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time,
unified.
You have guys that can make money on their own. You have guys that have shown that they can make the money. So it's like back then they needed Vlad, and at this point, there are guys that are the Vlad in their own opinion. Wilder thinks he is the Vlad.
Bro, like right now, the Vlad of our era is AJ. It's no different. There was always a dude that had an arena full of fans waiting to watch him fight any fucking tomato can.
But in the Vlad era, though, there were no A, household name, B, competitive fighter. You know what I mean? There were guys that, we built up and Vlad destroyed for the most part, or at least easily won those fights. But
wouldn't
that's
say
not the
built
same
up, man. That's
case.
I wouldn't say built up, Myra. That's how he got exiled, because we didn't know the people he was facing. The division wasn't as sexy as it is now. But look,
Exactly.
these callers.
Yes,
Make
sir.
sure I got no boomerangers here. Stunner in New Jersey, holla at me. Good morning. What it do? What it do? What it do?
TBV, y'all hear me?
Loud and clear.
What's going on? You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it light compared to my call yesterday, but I want to touch on a couple of topics that were on my mind. All right, first about this whole Wilder AJ thing, right? I know a lot of people want to see, the undisputed fight, just have and go down, but here's my thoughts. During AJ's interview, he said that he's gonna, do the Wembley date, and then he might possibly come over to America. So in my mind, I'm like, Wilder should wait until AJ comes to America, because when he comes to America, he's not going to be able to hide the numbers like they do in the UK, so we don't get to see what he really gets. And if AJ is a big star like they say he is, then naturally, him fighting in America, he should be making, way more money than he makes over there. They say that he makes 30 pounds a fight. So if he comes to America and he makes like 25 million or something, something's not adding up. Because there's no way AJ should be able to come to America and do worse numbers than he does over there in terms of the money that he receives. Next, I want to talk about the zone. I just find it funny how they had a $1 billion budget. They say it's supposed to possibly last 10 years. I was just doing some calculations, and between AJ and Canelo, they've basically received 2/5 of the whole budget. If I'm looking at it right. I'm not sure if that was a smart money move, but put that to the side. 3. Now, I don't know about y'all, but don't y'all kind of find it funny that Eddie Hearn would want AJ's first U.S. fight to be against somebody like Jarrell Miller? I mean, personally, I feel like Hearn would honestly want Miller to beat AJ, because that's not a fight you give somebody for their first fight going into another country. Like, Jarrell Miller will pressure the shit out of you. Like, I don't know. I feel like Hearn has more to gain off Jarrell Miller beating AJ, because he's already a domestic star. He's gonna sell out wherever he goes over there. But if he was to have Jarrell Miller beat AJ, not only would that create a super fight rematch for Hearn, but that can also possibly give him an American pay-per-view star who can honestly sell a fight on his own, because AJ has no personality. Next, I heard you say something about AC, Atlantic City fights and stuff.
Yeah, I think
I'll
a
say
caller or a host brought it up as an option for Wilder Fury.
Now, let me just throw this out there. The last time that, Atlantic City was popping, with fights, because there used to be a lot of boxing in New Jersey, it was the heavyweight division that, was the biggest attraction, and that was when Mike Tyson was knocking everybody out. So, I mean, yeah, that can honestly be something right there. And I mean, we got casinos over here. I mean, that's just something to look at. I know that Alida Alvarez and Kovalev fought over here in AC. So, and just
We'll see, man. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, you're right about that. Mike Tyson had AC pop, and I guess heavyweights are heavyweights. Can Wilder Fury make it jump off? We'll see. We're going out to Skype. Stefan, talk to me. Stefan on Skype, going once, going twice. Just listening? Cool. What up, people? This is Final Thoughts time. Man, I don't even want to go down those theories that I went earlier. I just feel like I really want this fight or the other fight to happen. Whatever it is that, Wilder wants, I hope that's what happens, But I'm cool with Fury Wilder or AJ Wilder.
Yeah, oh, go ahead, Mike.
I'm just saying I'm more or less in that same boat. Whatever fight happens, I'm happy with, but I really prefer the Wilder and Fury fight, just because I feel like there's some unfinished business that's needs to be settled in UK. I know you guys want the fight, but at the end of the day, like my guy Gary said, just because you love your country and you want to fight over there, when there's more money to fight somewhere else, then you probably go fight somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm too nervous about Wilder and Joshua to demand that it happen later rather than sooner. So if it can happen, great. But if I had a preference, I do feel like Wilder has unfinished business. And I think that him beating Fury in a dominating fashion, or at least, you know, in most of our eyes, it makes that Joshua fight even better. You know what I mean? It was like with Pacquiao Bradley. Pacquiao lost that fight, but he really didn't lose that fight. And to me, at the time, I would have rather him, which he ended up doing, fighting Bradley again, just to secure that demand. It's all about public perception. We want the best to fight the best, and when the number one and the number two are settled, then we want them to fight. But at this point, it honest feels like it. If we're gonna put Joshua in the number one spot, then Wilder's 2A and Fury's 2B, you know what I mean? And in no particular order. So I definitely would like to see that unfinished business, brought to an end.
Well, I'm your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO. And remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel right here at youtube.com/ThaBoxingVoice. And don't forget to subscribe to the backup channel, which we had to use for about 6 days straight since December 10th. So that is youtube.com/Nestor Gibbs, because you're always going to want to get those notifications whenever we go live. You never know when a hater flags us and we got to take it to the chin and go to court. But man, was a great show. Stick around. I'm trying to see, can we get some interviews done for you? We got Devin Haney and Caleb Plant lined up for sometime this week. We're going to lock in those dates. And we even might have Ronnie Shields to discuss last minute fighter changing with Willie Monroe and the step in of Matt Korbov to face Jamal Charlo. So stick around. Don't forget to subscribe to that YouTube channel and click that notification bell.
There is also a possibility that we have Brian Jennings later on today too. So look out for that too. Follow me on IG at Gross1911 or on Twitter at Gross2312.
And you can follow me at IG and at Twitter, same thing, at Mario Munguia. Support
Hitting
the Boxing Voice.
Up button is free and helps with the visibility of the show. Do it now. Future, present, past, it doesn't matter. The show could be a month old, 2 years old. Hitting a thumbs up will always help. Peace.